Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Clear Vision with EGlaze. I am your host, EGlaze. This is where we highlight inspiring voices and have conversation that help us grow. Today, I'm joined by somebody I've known for a few years now, Thomas Hinton, a sleep performance professional with over 12 years of experience and the CEO and founder of Circadian Health Systems. Thomas helps individuals and athletes optimize their performance through better sleep, and his clients include athletes from the NBA, WNBA, Olympians, MMA, and all levels from youth to high school. He's passionate about showing how sleep impacts everything from recovery and injury prevention to reaction time, decision making, and mental clarity. So today we're talking sleep performance and how to build a championship mindset on and off the field. Man, please welcome my guest, Thomas Hinton. How you doing today, sir?
Oh man, I'm good. It's good to see you again, and be having this conversation with you again. It's been a while since we did this last time.
And I think reason why, I thought this was so important because I know me with sleep problems and I've talked to athletes who've had sleep problems and we met
Yeah.
through athletes that had
Yep.
that problem. Um, your job is very important doing this type of thing. So when people meeting you for the first time, what do you tell them about what you're doing and why is it so important?
Oh yeah, man. So I just kind of go through. Usually when I'm seeing people for the first time, and and a lot of people don't know like all the ins and outs and the nuances of sleep. They just kind of know the basic stuff, which is fine. I really just I'm a big why person.
Mm,
This is why we're doing this. This is what we're going to be doing and why. So then when they start seeing those, what I call those micro wins, and they
yeah,
start seeing those results, then that's what builds the confidence and the compliance. When they start seeing oh wow, okay, this is what Thomas is talking about. Okay, he did say this would happen. There's a possibility that this would happen. So then it's kind of like, okay, I can keep going, and this is actually working. So that's really what I go over, when I'm talking to people, and just the again, like just the why of why we need to sleep. What happens in certain stages of sleep as it pertains to why it's important and different things like that.
yeah. Thank you. And we're here with Thomas Hinton, Circadian Health and Systems. Correct. I want to make sure I get that out there.
Circadian health and performance.
And performance, and talk about that. We all take that for granted. Think that athletes wake up and um, just work out hard, run physically gifted, God given talent, but then we think like they don't sleep at night.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how do people really get that connection of being able to say, okay, you want this, you can get great performance, but you want the highest level of performance. This is why this is so important right now.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things, especially when you're talking to young athletes, which that's from the grade school level all the way up to the professional level. They're still young at the pro level, when they're 22, 23 years old, and it's the social media part of it is really hard. So
Yeah.
it's really getting them to understand, hey, yes, you're training hard, you're working hard, you're doing all these things, but rest, sleep is also part of that process of becoming great. It's part of it.
Yeah.
And that's been one of the biggest misconceptions, when it comes to, how do I recover properly. They kind of push the sleep side, they push the sleep part to the side, because they're just like, oh well, I mean, I can sleep when I can sleep over here, I can do this later, I can do that. And it's like, no, this is where your brain takes the time to really defragment and like clean itself. That's where your memories and different things are broken down and categorized and different things like that. Your reaction times, that's how your reaction times are improved. It's crazy. And so it's just really getting them to understand that this is also part of you know of elevating it within your sport. And once you get them to once you they get that buy-in, or you get them to buy into that, and usually it takes a lot of kind of pushing and pulling. When they finally start to do it, it's like, okay, I'll listen to you, I'll see what this is all about. They start seeing the results, then it's like, okay, like, I'm tripping. Like, I can't believe I
Right.
missed this part. this
Right.
this one just tweaking this one thing alone is what's been kind of not holding me back, but you know has been kind of preventing me from going from here to here.
It's funny. there was a quote by somebody, and we are a peaceful show, Clear Vision. We don't get into other things, but there was a quote by somebody who said that you need to get 3 hours sleep, wake up at certain times to be able to jump on to things and get things going if you want to be ahead in the market.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I was like, man, I'm sure. And I thought about you. I was like, I'm sure Thomas gonna be like, hey, no, no, you want to
Yeah.
be, even though you're trying to get the jump on things and do things and not sleep much, because people think sleep is sometimes evil. And oh
Hmm.
man, you sleeping too much, man. You should be up there. We got to get all this. We got only 24 hours. We need to be working 24 hours a day to get stuff done. But when you hear quotes like that and people trying to minimize the effect of sleep, what do you try to warn them against or warn them about, saying, hey, you really need to think about this before you don't do the sleep thing?
Yeah. So I mean, I just give them examples, man. I give them, I bring attention to the problem, I educate them on it, and then I just give them examples on why this is a bad idea based on my experience, of working in the sleep space for as long as I have. Um, and that's really where it's just kind of like, oh, so they have to hear it from somebody else to really like understand, like,
Right.
kind of the gravity of it. And so, because I guess one of the things for me is, and when people are like, oh, I'll just sleep later, or I'll sleep when I'm dead, or blah blah blah, whatever it is, and it's especially like in the workforce, I'm like, hey,
Right.
they don't build statues for you, like at your place of work. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like, so while you're burning candles at both ends, like to make somebody else more money, and what's going to end up happening is like your health is going to take a dip,
Yeah.
right? It's going to take a big hit. And then you're going to be missing work, like you're going to be sick all the time, and then they're going to either fire or let you go, and then they're just going to replace you with somebody else.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And when you did all this work, skimping on sleep and depriving yourself of restorative sleep just to hit a bottom line, or whatever it is, it's like, no, it's like you actually, there's like data out there that shows that when you prioritize your sleep, especially in the workforce, that's where, it's been shown that people, they are promoted quicker,
Mm.
right? because
Mm.
because they're more engaged, they're more active in the
Correct.
workplace, they're happier, like they treat their coworkers and their constituents better, they have really good ideas, they're able to think quick on their feet. And yeah, like the study was done that showed that. And so it's, again, like when you skimp on your sleep, like that's when, I'll give you an example here. So I was talking to a guy, and he was just like, oh yeah, man, I got this project that I have to do, and he's staying up until 2-3 o'clock in the morning to get these done.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
what happens is, like, he'd wake up the next day, and then he would go over it again and think that he had these like new ideas. But I'm like, no, like, you're going back and you're fixing your mistakes. That's what you're doing,
Mm.
because you were so tired and sleep deprived. What happens is we start hurting to get it done, and so we just try to go the easy way, and
Mm.
we start doing anything just to be done with it.
Mm.
And then the next day we see it, and we're like, oh no, man, let's do it this way. And you're like, oh man, I have this idea. No, like, you're just going back and fixing your mistakes for the most part,
Spe-
So.
speaking of mistakes, where do you see some of the common mistakes from high performers or athletes? What do you see are some of their common most sleeping mistakes? I will say that you say, if you fix that, we see better. What are some of the mistakes you see from them?
Oh man, just what's one of the ones I use the most? Oh, like fixing like tweaking their wake up time, their bedtime and their wake up time. So having a consistent bedtime and wake up time alone, sometimes I've seen, will makes a huge difference. And here's why: is because our like cortisol is that's our stress hormone, right?
Yeah.
But it also acts as a wake promoter in the morning. People don't realize that.
Mm.
And so your body, like your brain, like needs to know when to start releasing it, when to start suppressing it. So if you have this like roller coaster of bedtimes and wake up times, it's like your body's kind of like, I don't like, I don't know what to do. Like, when do you want me to
Right.
do this? So
Oh
then that's
wow.
where that causes some hormone imbalances and different things like that start happening. And then that's when people start having difficulty controlling mood, controlling emotions, different things like that. So that's like one of the things that I see the most is just, oh, this is my off day, so I slept in. Like, nope, get up, like, get up,
Mm.
like keep, like, try to be. I mean, is it going to be perfect? No, it's not always going to be perfect, but it can be consistent though. And that's the thing that I tell them all the time is, like, I don't expect perfection because that's unrealistic, but I expect consistency.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to see the most benefits, the more consistent you are.
You have a wide vast of age ranges you work with, from the youth, high school
Hmm.
to adults. Minimal sleep that you would say for certain age groups that you work with, or you just in general, that you would say, hey, if you at this age, we should be going for 8 or 9, this 6. If you at this performance, what do you normally see or require? I mean, provide information to these people to say this is the amount of time that you need to be able to get some
Yeah.
sleep.
So the younger they are, the more they need. I mean, there's like this cookie cutter kind of graph that shows you from like uh, from newborn up to a certain point, like how many hours. Um, and so when it comes to like grade school level kids, like if they're grade school age, obviously like I would say 9 to 10,
Mm,
because they're still children spend the most. So I'll say this. So I think it's like 75% or more of growth hormone is released during like stage 3 sleep, which is a deep restorative stage. And
mm,
that's the stage of sleep that children spend the most time in, which is why sleep is very vital and crucial for their mental and physical growth and development. And so for them, I would say about 9 to 10. Some graphs will even say like 11.
mm.
Just because that growth hormone is just pulsing, once they reach that stage of sleep. Um, but then, if they're an athlete, that changes as well because they're using and abusing their body more than the average, seventh grader, or non-athlete. So their body requires more recovery and repair time, because they're breaking their body down. So that's where like the customization and the tailoring of everything that I do comes into play, because it's not a one size fits all for everybody. It's literally based
Mm.
on your lifestyle, like what you're doing, what you're not doing, like all these different things. And so then that's where I'm able to go in and plug in and say, okay, so you're not doing this, so let's plug that in. Or you're doing this, you need to stop doing this, so let's remove that and then replace it with this.
How does Thomas Hinton get into this field?
Oh man, so I think it'll be 18 years in October this year that I've been in sleep. So it started off in the sleep lab, man. That's where that's where I was born, in the sleep lab, and that's really where I had the opportunity to learn and witness the architecture and mechanism behind sleep. So what it looks like. So I was joking,
Mm.
say, I've seen sleep because we put the EEG wires on the head and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We can
right,
see the
right,
brain.
right.
Yeah, we can see the brain
Yeah,
waves and all that stuff. And so I just took it into overdrive. I loved it. Like I loved it. Like I just fell in love with sleep and just continued education and training. Got off nights, did nights for 9.5 years, started working during the day. And one day a gentleman says, "Hey man, like you deliver information really well. You should do this for a living." And I'm
mm,
like, "Well, I do this for a living." And he's like, "No, I mean like the business entrepreneur type stuff."
right,
And
right.
that scared the hell out of me because I never thought of doing anything like that, right?
Mm,
And just started researching, talking to people who are business owners, what are the do's and don'ts. Started listening more to people that were having sleep issues, and then
yeah.
athletes came in. Athletes were having sleep issues. Oh, okay, ding ding ding, like there's a niche. And so I just kind of focused on that niche. And then in July of 2019, I launched it is Circadian Health Systems LLC, but I do business as Circadian Health and Performance.
So okay, the
So
health
so you, so you
performance.
weren't wrong in the introduction. It's just like I just do business as Circadian Health and Performance.
No, and
Um,
it makes sense too. I mean, yeah, that because we do perform. So
yeah,
tell me about that though. When you're talking to, because one of the things you discuss is championship sleep habits.
yeah,
Because people don't, champion is the level everybody tries to get to.
yep,
So what are some championship sleep? Well, I want to say championship sleep habits that help us
yeah.
proceed and get into those levels.
Man, it's just prioritizing. So like it starts the moment that you wake up. You know, when you wake up, get outside, expose your eyes to that sunlight. Okay, because when you expose your eyes to that sunlight, like it tells your brain, okay, turn off that melatonin faucet, and then turn on, so like pretty much like suppress sleep promoting, hormones, and then turn on wake promoting hormones. Okay. And so that's pretty much what you're doing when you're stepping outside and getting that sunlight. And plus, it just helps your circadian rhythm or your circadian clock, which governs your sleep and other functions in the body. Like it helps it better to be able to navigate, like when to start, something like to start, allowing something to be active, when to suppress it, when to increase something, like your digestive system, for example. That's why I tell people don't go to bed too hungry, but then don't go to bed too full.
Right.
Because your digestive system should not be active like that during sleep. It deprives you of deep restorative sleep. because now your body, it has to process and metabolize and break that stuff down and process it. So anyway, that was kind of went off on that, but um, again, it's just customizing and tailoring, like, specifically just based on who they are, like
Right.
what they're doing and what their goals are in their sport, and then just listening to what they're doing, and just say, okay, don't do this, stop doing this, start doing this. And that's really where, like, that championship level comes into play. What are you willing to get? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice, in order to put yourself in the best possible position to, achieve what it is that you're trying to, that you're trying to get to. And sleep is a part of that. That's the biggest problem that I see a lot of athletes having is not prioritizing that.
Let me ask you this. What is your sleep performance? What is your sleep pattern? What do you do? Because you got a lot to do. You're dealing with people daily. What do you try to make sure you get on a daily basis where you're like, all right, this I'm shutting down at this time because I got to be at it. Because when you're speaking with people, I see your IGs and things like that. You got to be at it. You always look like you're in energy mode, but to get that energy that you're looking for, what is
Oh
your
yeah,
pattern?
I prioritize my sleep, man. Like, and again, like, is it perfect? No, it doesn't always look like, like but I'm consistent though.
Yeah.
So my friends, my family know I start my 30-minute wind down period at 9 o'clock. So don't, like, text calls. Not I'm not, you know what I mean?
Right.
Now, and unless my call ID, like, says, like, my sister or my mom, you know what I mean? Because,
Yeah.
like, I'm
Yeah.
home, like, my wife, my daughter are here. So, like, if it's my mom and my sister, obviously I'll pick it up. But even they know, okay, like, don't bother Thomas,
Yeah.
because at 9:30 I'm in the bed,
Yeah.
and I don't compromise on that.
Wow.
And so I put my phone down. Like, I mean, it's second nature now. Like, it doesn't even bother me. Like,
Wow.
my TikTok and, my IG can be blowing up, and I'll look at it and be like, oh, okay, well, I'll just get to it tomorrow. You know what I mean? And I'll just put it down. Um, because I have to set that boundary for myself, because if I don't, then other people will set that boundary for me.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. So that's how I do it. That's my my sleep schedule. I get up about probably 6:30 in the morning. So I get my hours. Plus, I wear a CPAP machine too, because, a mask, because I have sleep apnea. So
Yeah.
I really, really take that serious. So yeah.
So you get a good 8 to 9 hours then. Oh wow.
I try to. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are your goals with circadian health and performance?
What are my goals? Oh man. Uh, just to continue to help people. Just continue to help them. Evolve. Within their sport. And if they're not an athlete, just evolve within their life. Um, I really enjoy, seeing the difference that I make in people's lives and helping them take back, control of their health, instead of their health controlling them. So, I mean, that's really my goal, is just to continue to keep helping people, man. I love it.
And since this is, we call this Clear Vision with EGlaze. When did you have this clear vision? I think you might have told us, but when did you have a clear vision that this is something I want to do? Not just because it's something I do, but you can see that it's helping people and helping people grow and become the best that they can. When did you have a clear vision that this is what I'm supposed to be doing? This is what I want to be doing.
Oh man, probably. I mean, well, I've always known since I got in the sleep space. Like, once I had got a really good handle on sleep,
Yeah.
and started learning more about, like, how it impacts different functions of the body and all this other stuff. I mean, I really got locked in probably about 2010,
Mm,
because I started in '08. Yeah, I started in '08. And so I'd say about 2010, it's about 2 years in, once I got started and really started diving into it. But it got, I would say that it grew even more when I got my first client, and,
mm,
like, I saw, like, what I was doing for them was working.
mm.
And they're like, man, like, thank you so much, like, this is amazing, this is great. you know and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm onto something here. Like, this guy feels great, like, he feels better, like, he's no longer, falling asleep at, around dinner time. He's no longer, he has more energy, like, his wife is loves this, because now he's and so once that happened, it was just like, okay, all right, I'm let's keep this rolling. So I guess there was, like, kind of two parts to it. It was like that second year into it, when I started, like, really, like, learning, diving into it, and then my first client that I got was like, okay, this is something I want to
We're here with the owner of Circadian Health and Performance, Thomas Hinton. We're going to finish with a few more things, and I start finish with this without giving out all the goodies because they need to check in.
Yeah.
What is a sleep routine or something simple that you would tell people who are just looking in and saying, "What can I do now to maybe help me get better sleep?"
Yeah. So for one, consistency, but number two, well, I guess before that, the number one thing would be develop a good pre-bedtime routine, because you want to create triggers that your body and your brain will recognize leading up to bed. So
Mm,
therefore, that transition into relaxation and sleep is a lot more pleasant. So I always, implement a 30-minute wind down period. Like, start one of those. So whatever your bedtime is, 30 minutes before that, like, no electronics, like no phone, TV, computers, like none of that stuff. You find something to do that's relaxing within that 30 minutes. Some reading is good. And then usually that last 5 to 10 minutes is finished off in the sleep environment, because
mm,
again, trigger. Um, so I mean, that can be in the form of like just brushing your teeth, taking a shower or bath before bed. I usually have people like, yeah, put some comfy clothes on, but like set something aside, like designate something that you can that to change into to sleep in.
mm,
So when you enter that sleep environment and you change into it to it, it's like, oh, okay, well, okay. When Emmanuel puts this on, he goes here. So
mm.
you're just checking those boxes off leading up to, going to bed. So that's one of the main things that I start with people is pre bedtime routine, 30-minute wind down period, and then be
You s-
consistent with it.
you said something very interesting, and I it just popped in my head. People in electronics before bed, whether it's leaving
Hmm.
the TV on or the phone, um, and even to the people that have fans,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
put to keep them going. What are your thoughts on that? Because people think that I can't go to sleep unless the TV's on in the background, or I can't do something without this going. I can't watch I fall asleep with the phone in my hand. What are your thoughts on that? And when you say trying to get into that routine of not having those distractions when you go to bed.
Yeah, so the fan thing, I can't really say anything about that because we have a fan in our room, and it's like we have to have that on. Like
Yeah.
there was I'll tell you this story. There was a one time where the power didn't go. I think the fan quit, and like we both woke up out of our sleep like what something's wrong, like it's just a comfort thing, just having that noise. But in terms of having like the TV in the room, like that's a big no for me. People don't realize how much better they can sleep without that distraction, without the TV, um, because I mean when you have it on, like it's a stimulator. That's what sells you your OxyClean, and shows you stuff that you don't need at night.
Right.
Um, those CDs that they used to be able to buy, on
Yeah.
and it's just blaring loud. But and when I say that, I have to kind of pull back a little bit, because not everybody is the same. Like there
Yeah.
there is like a small population, and they're outliers, but there's a small population of people that actually can fall asleep with the TV and stuff on. Like they do, like they just do better with it, right? So like we're not really speaking like to that population, but it's just the ones that are having big difficulty doing that. Like take the TV out of the room and just see how it looks. Um, there was something else you touched on with that, with the electronics. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So it turns into, okay, well, what are you doing in the sleep environment? So some people are doing like homework, work stuff, emails,
Hmm.
financial
Hmm.
stuff in the sleep environment, and it can be stressful. So then what happens is that your brain and your body associates that environment with stress. So then now your cortisol goes up, your adrenaline, your fight or flight, is in place. And so then when you enter that environment, it's just kind of like, okay, like we're ready, like where's the stress at? And then you're laying there like, I'm ready to go to, why can't I sleep? Because it's like, well, no, like we had stress here the last couple of days, like let's tackle that, and there's nothing there. Or if you're watching, like, oh man, those funny cat videos, like, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Again, like it'll associate that environment with wakefulness and excitement. And so then
Hmm.
when you enter it, it's just like, this is where we go to laugh and have fun, and it's like, no, 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 no. Like this should be a place where when you enter it, it's like, this is where we start coming down. This is where we calm down. This is where we relax. This is where we sleep. So again, like it's all nuance. Like you have to really know, like kind of, you got to play around with it sometimes.
And you make sense. It's basically you need to treat your sleep as important as you do your job, your family, and everything else.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if not, it can affect all those as well. So that's why it's so important. Thomas, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. Before we go, we always allow our guests to tell where they can be found, websites, everything. This is
Yeah.
your time. Tell people where they can find you at, sir.
No, man, go www.circadianhealth.org. All right, go to the website, take a look around, services, all the different things that we do. If you have any questions, or there's a part where you can send some, you can send a question in. We can chat back and forth. I'm on Facebook, Circadian Health and Performance. Check me out. Message me there if you need to. But don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always here to help.
There it is. And thank you again to our guest today. Hey man, I hope you learned some about sleep, man. Take it seriously. Because I had to learn that the hard way. The older I get, if not, I'll be the grumpy old man on the couch sleeping. So make sure you
Yeah.
take care of your health, man. Make
And there's
the
so much more to it, man. Like I always feel like there's so much meat on the left on the bone. But yeah,
We'll keep following up. This is like our second. We'll keep following up because I'm sure
yeah, yeah,
as time grows and things, we're gonna have to start creating a health environment for everything, from
yeah,
waking up, sleep to everything. And I want to make sure we keep this part as a big part because I don't think people realize. And you brought up something today that I never thought about. You need to have that wind down time is so important because a lot of people just go from stress straight, try to go straight to bed, and
yeah,
it's pretty hard to do that. So
yeah. Same thing with kids. Like some people, like their kids be going 100 miles an hour, and they're like, "Oh, bedtime," and it's like,
bedtime,
no, you
right?
can't do that. And so it's and they wonder why they're so wild. Like you can't do that. You got to
Um,
bring them down.
yeah, I just jumped off the wall, Mom. You want me to go to bed right now?
Yeah, yeah,
I just did a cartwheel. You say, okay, go to bed.
yeah. Like it doesn't work that way. Like you gotta help bring them down, and then yeah. So
For Thomas Hinton, I'm EGlaze, man, and that's the Clear Vision, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.
all right, thanks for having me.
Thank you.